bottled water. Stay hydrated, please, everyone. Souvenir hats are even sewn on the top of your head and out of your eyes.
Alrighty, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
It's a beautiful day for a boat ride. We're really glad you're here. Just a few things about the vessel while we're boarding. There is a stairway back out that takes you to the lower deck. Additional seating is located there if you want to get out of the sun. Restrooms as well. Restrooms are on the starboard side, dock side. Moving forward just past the bar. Men's room is first, ladies' room is second. Full service bar
Kia
on the lower deck.
drama
Ice
kia
cold
ធំ
drinks.
កដាលថតមើលឃើញហ្នឹង
Raise your bartender. Ray fix up a spicy Bloody Mary, vodka pink lemonade, rum punch, tequila sunrise, classic margarita. The benches that surround the main deck and on the lower deck. We'll make sure each and every one of you get one should they be necessary. For your safety on board.
Don't take that downstairs if you absolutely must, because it is very distracting to the folks who would like to hear the tour. Also, I want you guys to take as many photos as you want. The only thing that I ask is that you don't block the view or distract any of your fellow passengers. And pro tip, when we turn the boat around, we have a couple of points where we turn. I hop off the mic because those are amazing photo ops for you guys. So if you want to get a selfie, group photo, we're in a really cute outfit today that you would like to capture the skyline behind you, that is the time to do that. Geography, economics, community, art, pollution, corruption, fire, really expensive petty moments. We've had it all. We're going to start things off by talking about this building that we've been staring at for 10 minutes. This classic looking white building over here on our right is of course the famous Wrigley Building, completed in 1924 and covered in glazed terracotta tiles. Now, these tiles, they are not only flame retardant, but they are able to be cleaned. And that was pretty important at the time because air pollution would often turn these white buildings black with soot. So once a year, even today, each of those 250,000 very delicate terracotta tiles are hand washed. Because you gotta hand wash your delicates. The Wrigley Building is no different. That's about the caliber of joke you can expect for the next hour or so.
នេះឡានបើកពីលើហ្នឹង
Now, the
ឡាន
High Bay is the
ស្ពាន
second
នេះ
tallest
ដើរ
building
មុ
in
ន
our
ហ្នឹង
skyline, the Trump International Hotel and Tower, completed in 2009, designed by a Chicagoland native, Adrian Smith. It's a great example of a design style called contextualism. It's a style that seeks to flatter its context. As an example, we see Trump Tower has these three distinct patio setbacks, and each one of them is at a very specific height. This first setback here is the same height as the building's neighbor, the Wrigley Building. The second setback is the same height as Mather Tower. This white rocket ship-shaped tower, the tallest of these four buildings, squished together immediately across the river. And
London
the
County,
third and tallest setback on Trump Tower, it is the same height as this building's neighbor. On its other side, this black box tower here, just coming into view, called the AMA Plaza. So it is contextualizing. It is flattering its surroundings. Now, this black box tower here was completed by Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Mies van der Rohe is a very influential architect, considered the father of modernism, more specifically black box modernism. He was a part of the Bauhaus school. He really championed the idea of design as purely purpose-driven. So important because of its functionality, but beautiful because of the precision it took to achieve that. And we are, of course, going to dive into the history of the black box in Chicago because we have so many of them, but we're going to do that later because right now I would like for us to gander at these two absolutely wacky corn cobs next door. These two towers are part of a complex called Marina City. Marina City was completed in 1967 by the architect Bertrand Goldberg, and he actually was a student of Mies van der Rohe, but he considered himself to be more of a social scientist, and he wanted Marina City to be a city within a city, a place where residents could live, work, be entertained, all within one complex, and his goal was to attract more residents to the city center because at the time, this river stunk really bad, and nobody wanted to live downtown. Goldberg wanted to change that. He also totally rejected the black box
Parking land
loops
đó
of
nè.
his mentor, favoring organic shapes instead. He is even quoted to say, "There are no right angles in nature, and you will find no right angles in my building," which is a very sassy quotation from Bertrand Goldberg, but it does appear to be true. All the apartment units are shaped kind of like slices of pizza. But the complex as a whole, it has a hotel, a theater, the House of Blues, shopping, restaurants, daycare center, bowling alley, gym, plenty of valet parking, and of course, a marina underneath. So, only the essentials for your average Chicagoan. But Goldberg's social experiment seeking to lure residents downtown. His social experiment was wildly successful because Marina City continues to be one of the most popular spots along the Chicago River even today. We're going to bring it back a little bit closer to today, talk about something contemporary. Over here on our left, this blue reflective tower that has cutouts snaking all the way up to the top. This is 111 West Wacker. It's actually had a pretty interesting journey. Construction started prior to the financial crisis of 2008, and it only made it up a third of its projected 90 floors before construction had to stop. But then in 2012, new developers took over the halted project, and they decided to keep the original stopping point in the form of the first cutout on the front of the building in the middle. They incorporated the original stopping point into the new design as a nod to the history of the project. And then immediately below that, we have our beloved Chicago River Walk. This is the River Theater section, and these different sections all serve slightly different purposes, but they connect to form a 1.3-mile-long riverfront trail. It was designed with the intention of turning our previously pretty gnarly, nasty waterfront into active public space. It was actually thought up all the way back in 1909. It was part of something called the 1909 Burnham Plan of Chicago. Unfortunately, the water of the river only started to get marginally less gross with the Clean Water Act of 1972. And construction on the Riverwalk did not even begin until 2003. So, it took us a little over 100 years to get our act together, but we did finally complete this project in 2016. Now coming up here on the right, we are approaching an absolutely massive limestone structure. This behemoth is the Merchandise Mart. The Merch Mart was completed in 1930 to be the wholesale warehouse and trade showroom for the Marshall Field department store. May it rest in peace. With 4.2 million square feet of floor space, this was the largest building on the planet at the time of construction. At different points throughout history, this thing had its own zip code and its own fire station. Today, it is a perfect example of the Art Deco design style. And Art Deco is really denoted by these vertical racing stripes. They lead the eye up, they create vertical movement. And this is a style from the 1920s. So it is a time of movement, of growth, of luxury. And that is all reflected here in the Mart. It has a polished Indiana limestone facade and metallic accents, repetitive patterns. Those things are also hallmarks of that Art Deco style. And I also have to mention the super weird green Pez dispenser heads facing the building in the front here. They do not dispense candy. Missed opportunity, in my opinion. Those are tributes to the princes of retail, men like Marshall Field, Montgomery Ward, Woolworth. Now they are bird perches. Birds sit up there. Birds do stuff up there. They get greener and greener every day. All right, guys, get ready. We are about to enter into the best part of the Chicago River, in my opinion. This is Wolf Point. Wolf Point is where the three branches of the Chicago River converge. We are on the main branch of the river right now. The north branch is around this corner to the right, and the south branch is over here on the left. They all meet right here and create a Y shape. With the revitalization of the river, this area has seen an architectural boom. A lot of these shiny contemporary towers around us were put up pretty recently. Like this one over here on our right, this is Salesforce Tower, completed in 2023, built on the site of an old parking lot. But look at it now, it's full of offices.
2023
Started from the bottom, now it's here. That also includes this one in front of us, this building that is shaped like a hot pocket. This is River Point. It is from 2017, and actually this goofy hot pocket shape is purposeful. It is site-specific, because if you look underneath the building, you'll see these circular exhaust vents. Those are for the trains that run underground right there. And one thing you can't do when installing structural supports for a skyscraper is dig through active rail lines. So their solution was this parabolic arch at the base of the building. It actually helps to redistribute the load of the building into supports on either side, so the train is still active and ready. Now we're turning up the north branch of the river, and in front of us we have a pink brick building. That is actually the oldest building we're going to see on this tour. That is Fulton House, and when it was originally built in 1898, it did not have any of those windows because it was essentially a
oldest
giant
building.
meat freezer, serving Chicago's thriving meatpacking industry. So the company operating this freezer closed, and renovations began in the 80s to turn the building into apartments. But they actually had to pause work for 6 months to let the building thaw. When work finally resumed, they found the walls were 4 feet thick, full of cork and matted horsehair that was used for insulation at the time, which is super gross. But the transformation of Fulton House was led by architect Harry Weese.
បង
Harry
គាត់
Weese
ប្រាប់
was
ថា
an
ពីមុន
avid
អត់មាន
sailor,
ប្រួយ
so
ទេ
he
គឺគេយកគៀនហ្នឹងធ្វើជាទូធំតកសាច់តកអី
Fulton House, he added these
ទូ
circular
តកធំ
windows
តែឥឡូវគេដូរទៅជាដាក់ប្រួយដាក់អីដើម្បីដាក់ឲ្យមនុស្សជួលនៅ
threw a bunch of nautical stars at it.
Yeah,
No
good.
discernible pattern, and he even missed a whole chunk over here on the right.
ស្ពាន
It's all
ដាក់
just added flair. Harry Weese ended up liking the spot on the river so much that he then went on to design next door the River Cottages in 1988. And as
គៀ
you
ន
can
នេះ
see,
1998
had fun. The man was obsessed with triangles. He used them all the time, and we think it's because the triangle shape looks like a sail. So he's taking those nautical motifs and reinventing them for a postmodern style. The River Cottages are a great example of postmodernism, considered the irrational response to the overly rational modernism. It's really characterized by out-of-the-box, wacky designs that focus on storytelling. And in the case of the River Cottages, I really think we're telling an aspirational story in the hope that this river would one day be clean enough to live near and sail on. And it is. All right, guys, we are heading into our first turn. I am going to hop off the mic, and like I said, because this is an amazing photo opportunity, because we have an amazing backdrop behind us right now. So if you want to get a picture of yourself, your friends, your fam, now is a perfect opportunity. When I come back on the mic after I've turned around, I will ask everybody to return to their seats, make sure everyone can still see what we want to talk about. Until then, visit the bar, use the restroom. I will see you guys in a few minutes.
Hey, ស្បែកក្រុមហើយយើងថតទៅតាមយើងថតទៅថតទៅអូខេត្រឡប់ទៅវិញហើយ